So bring the body onto the back and bend the knees so that the soles of the feet are resting underneath the knees. Bring your hands to your low belly. And for a few moments, we'll just notice the natural breath. Notice how it's moving. Maybe notice its tempo, its temperature. Just giving yourself a moment to simply be present with breath. And as we take the next natural breath in, allow your low belly to soften and slightly round into your hands. And as you breathe out, just let the belly sink back towards the spine. Breathing in, let the low belly soften and slightly round into your hands. And as you breathe out, just let the belly sink. Breathing in, let the low belly soften and slightly round. Breathing out and letting go. Now take one of your hands and place it on your ribs, either the front ribs or the side ribs, whatever is more comfortable. Now this time, as we breathe in, we're going to let the belly soften and let the ribs expand to the left and to the right. As we breathe out, we'll just let go. Breathing in, let the belly soften, let the ribs expand. Breathing out and letting go. Breathing in, let the belly soften, let the ribs expand. And as you breathe out, let everything sink. Now take the hand that was on the ribs and place it on the chest, just underneath your collarbones. Now this time, as you breathe in, let the belly soften, let the ribs expand, and invite the chest to broaden. As you breathe out, let all of this go. Breathing in, soft belly, expansive ribs, broadened chest. Breathing out and letting go. Breathing in, soft belly, expansive ribs, broadened chest. Breathing out and letting go. So give yourself just a few more moments with this 3-part breath rhythm. Feeling the expansion of the belly, the ribs, and the chest. And you might also explore welcoming the breath into the back body as well. So as the low belly softens, try to soften the low back. As the ribs of the front body expand, invite the ribs of the back body to also expand. And as the chest broadens, allow the upper back to also broaden. Beginning to feel the fuller dimensionality of the breath. And now just allow the breath to return to its natural rhythm, whatever that might be at this point, and just pause and notice the effects of that 3-part breath rhythm. Now become aware of the head and the neck, and slightly lengthen long through the neck and up through the crown of the head. Take an easy breath in, and as you breathe out, rotate the head to the right, so you're looking out over your right shoulder. Pause for a moment here. And allow both of your shoulders to be really heavy, either onto the bed or onto the floor, wherever you're practicing. And as you take your next breath in, now bring the head back into the center. And as you breathe out, just let something soften on the inside. So we'll take another inhalation. And on the exhalation, this time rotate the head to the left, looking out over the left shoulder. Invite both shoulders to be heavy and relaxed. And just pause here for a moment as the neck unwinds. Now let's inhale and bring the head back into the center, and on the exhalation, rotate the head to the right. Inhale again, come back into the center, and exhale now, the head to look left. Breathing in back into the center, and as you breathe out, just pause and notice. What is here? Now bring the arms down along the sides of the body, palms either looking towards the hips or up towards the ceiling, down to the floor, whatever is most comfortable. Now with the next natural inhalation, we're going to extend the arms up towards the ceiling and then in the direction of the ears. And as we exhale, we're just going to bring the arms back down by the side body. Breathing in, extending the arms up in the direction of the ears, coming only as high as is comfortable. And as you breathe out, relax the arms back down by your sides. So continue for just a few more breaths. Breathing in to lengthen and extend the arms. Breathing out to relax the arms by your side. Now, the next time that the arms are extended up by your ears or in that direction, if you'd like to pause for just a moment, linger here, please feel free. And see what it would be like to welcome the breath into any areas of tension or resistance. So we'll take another breath in, and then on the out breath, bring the arms to rest back down by the side body. And see what it would be like here to really stay present with the body, letting go of the movement. What does that feel like? Now, invite your right knee in towards the belly and either hold on to the shin or behind the knee, whatever is more comfortable. For some of us, we might want to use a strap to make it easier to connect with the leg. And then as we pause here for a moment with the knee bent in towards the belly, begin to invite breath into the right hip and into the low back. And just notice what happens when we welcome breath into those areas of the body that are feeling limited or restricted in some way. So from here, with our next inhalation, let's extend that right foot up towards the ceiling by straightening the right knee. And as we breathe out, we'll bend the knee, let the foot drop back down towards the buttock. Inhaling, extend that leg again back up towards the ceiling. And as you breathe out, just bend your knee, let your foot drop back down towards your bottom. So continue this movement just a few more times, inviting lubrication into that knee joint. The next time that leg is extended and the foot is lengthening up towards the ceiling, let's pause here. So for some of us, having the leg extending on its own is fine. For some of us, it'll be more comfortable to have a strap around the arch of the foot to help support the leg. Either way is fine. And we'll take just a moment and roll around that right ankle, inviting movement into that ankle joint. Now, for a moment, explore pointing and flexing that right foot, reaching up into the ball of the foot, and then reaching up into the heel of the foot. And then we'll let that ankle come back into stillness with a slight extension of the heel up towards the ceiling. And we'll invite the toes to melt down towards the belly. It's not important that the knee be completely straight here. Feel free to have a little bend in the knee so that the position is comfortable for you. And then we'll just pause here for a couple of breaths and just notice the blossoming of sensation. Maybe it's in the back of the leg or it's in the hip. It might be in the calf or somewhere else in the body. But for a few moments, just let yourself become really curious about the most prominent sensation. Notice the qualities of that sensation. Notice the edges of the sensation. And notice whether or not that sensation stays exactly the same or does it shift moment to moment. What is true in your experience? And we're going to inhale and lengthen up just a bit longer through that right heel. And then as we exhale, we're going to bend the right knee so the right ankle can come down to rest on the left thigh. Let's add a little bit of flexion into that right ankle. Again, bringing the toes back in towards the shin. And we'll pause here for just a moment as that hip gets a little bit of a warm up, a little rotation. And as we wait for that hip to loosen up a little bit, it might also be helpful to welcome breath into this part of the body and see what happens. So on the next inhalation, one more time, let's extend the right leg up towards the ceiling, and then on the exhalation, allow that leg to slowly drift back down to rest on the floor, on the bed, and see if you can feel the letting go. That cascade of release. So let's bend the right knee. So now the right foot is resting underneath the knee, and we'll bring the left knee up towards the belly. And again, either holding on to the shin or behind the knee, whatever is most comfortable in your body. And then let the breath move into whatever areas of restriction or tightness you notice. Allowing the breath to create spaciousness on the inside. So the next time you're inhaling, let's extend that left leg now up towards the ceiling. And as you're exhaling, just bend your knee again so the foot can drop back down towards the buttocks. Breathing in, unfold that left knee. The foot lifts up towards the sky. Exhale, bend the knee. Let the foot again return back down towards the buttock. So just a couple of times here, again, warming up that knee joint. Moving it through its range of motion. And the next time that left leg is extended with the heel lengthening up towards the ceiling, we'll pause. Feeling free to use a strap if that's helpful. And remembering the knee does not need to be fully straight here. Choosing that position that is comfortable and steady. And then take a couple of moments here to just roll around that left ankle joint, really exploring the full diameter of the joint. And then take a moment to flex and point that left foot. And then we'll let that ankle come back into stillness, lengthening up through the heel just a bit so the toes can melt down towards the belly. And then we'll just pause here and be really curious about what is unfolding in the inner landscape. Different sensations, coming and going. Maybe even commentary in the mind, coming and going. Simply present with whatever is here. Now let's bend the left knee so the left ankle can come down to rest on the right thigh. And we'll keep a little bit of flexion in that left ankle so the heel reaches away, the toes come back in towards the shin. And as we linger in this position for just a couple of breaths, feel free to explore what happens if we invite breath into those areas of restriction, those areas of tightness. Now with the next inhalation, extend the left leg back up towards the ceiling, and then on the exhalation, slowly allow that leg to return to rest, being present for the point of contact, being present for the letting go. So with the knees still bent, let's bring awareness now to the low belly and begin to cough And as you cough, notice how the low belly bounces. It engages and then releases. Now see if you can engage the low belly in this way without compromising the flow of breath. So we're going to use this gentle tone, this gentle engagement in the low belly to support this next sequence. Now bring the right knee in towards the belly and extend the right foot up towards the ceiling as you straighten your right knee. Allow the right leg now to drift back towards the mat, hovering when you get just a couple of inches above the floor. Inhale and bring the right knee back in towards the belly. Extend the right leg then up towards the ceiling. And exhale, slowly lower the leg down until it hovers just above the floor. Breathing in to fold the knee in towards the body and then extend the leg towards the ceiling. Breathing out to lower the leg until it hovers just above the floor. Now continue with this movement for a couple of more breaths, building strength in the center of the body. And the next time that right leg is extended and hovering just above the floor, feel free to pause, to challenge the body just a bit more, making sure that the breath is still fluid, is still easy, and letting go of any holding or tension that's not helping the movement in the shoulders or the jaw, the backs of the eyes maybe. And now take an easy breath in, and as you breathe out, just let your right leg come to rest on the floor, staying present now for the letting go. The cascade of release. Now bend the right knee so the right foot is again resting on the mat. And we'll bring the left knee now in towards the belly. Extend the left leg up towards the ceiling, straightening the knee, and then let the left leg drift down until it hovers just above the floor. Bend the left knee in again towards the belly and extend the left leg up towards the ceiling, and then lower that left leg down until it hovers just above the floor. As you explore this sequence for a couple of more breaths, adding the breath pattern if you like. The inhalation brings the knee in and extends the leg up, and the exhalation lowers the leg down. All the while keeping that gentle engagement deep in the low belly, keeping the breath flowing. Now, the next time that the left leg is hovering just above the floor, feel free to pause, cultivating the strength in the center that we need. Letting go of any tension or holding in the periphery that we don't need. Now take an easy breath in, and as you breathe out, just let your left leg come to rest on the floor. And again, practice being in relationship with the cascade of release. Intimate with the body, letting go. So from here, Let's roll the body over onto hands and knees, coming up into a tabletop position. And if your knees are tender, feel free to put a cushion or a pillow underneath your knees. If your wrists are tender, feel free to put a little extra cushion underneath the heels of the hands, or even to come down onto your forearms. Now, as we take the next breath in, we're going to extend the sternum and the tail in two directions. And as we breathe out, we're going to tuck the tail and roll the pelvis back in the direction of the heels. Inhale again, come back up onto all fours, lengthening through the sternum and the tail. Breathing out, tuck the tail and roll the pelvis back towards the feet, not needing to get all the way there. So give yourself the opportunity to just explore this sequence, matching the length of your breath with the length of your movement, and really present with the experience on the inside. What do you notice? Now, the next time that you've come back up into the tabletop position, into all fours, if your elbows are not already on the floor, let's lower the elbows down directly underneath the shoulders. It's a good idea sometimes to square off the upper arms by taking the right fingers around the left elbow and the left fingers around the right elbow, so you have a nice steady support for the shoulder girdle. And then just pivot on your elbows so you can interlace your fingers. Now shrug the shoulders back and down just a bit. Maybe even feeling the shoulder blades move a tad closer towards each other and down the back body towards your hip pockets. From here, explore stepping the right leg back behind you and tucking the toes under on the mat. Lengthening into your right heel. And just feeling as the back of that calf, back of the hamstring begins to enliven just a bit. Now return the right knee to the floor underneath the hip. And this time, let's extend the left leg back behind us. Tuck the toes under on the floor and gently lengthen into the heel. Simply present with whatever is enlivening here. Now return the left knee to the floor underneath the left hip. And now for this next variation, feeling free to continue with what we were just exploring, or feel free to add a little bit more. So continue to have the shoulders rolled slightly back and down, and give just a little bit of emphasis into your forearms, kind of like you could push the floor away. This doesn't have to be a big movement, but just an energetic gesture. Step your right leg back behind you, toes tucked under again, lengthening into the heel. Invite a gentle tone or engagement into the low belly. And explore now lifting your right leg up so that it's parallel with the floor, so it's not too high. The back of your pelvis will be even. Pause here for a breath or two. And when you're ready, release the leg back to the floor, tucking that right knee underneath the hip and shifting to the other side. So now this time, extend your left leg back behind you, tucking the toes under. Remember that gentle root into the forearms, that gentle strength in the low belly. As you now explore lifting the left leg up to the horizon. Not so high that it tilts the pelvis to one side. Just high enough to really feel the back of the leg engage. Easy in the breath. And when you're ready, allow that left knee to again return to the floor underneath the left hip. And before we explore the next variation, feel free to tuck the tail and just roll the pelvis back towards your heels for a breath or two, giving the shoulders, the upper arms a chance to rest. Supporting this micro rest with breath. So we'll come up onto the elbows one more time. Elbows underneath shoulders, fingers interlaced. Remembering the strength in the low belly by gently engaging the low belly towards the spine. Now step the right leg back behind you, toes tucked under, gently lengthening into the heel. And if you like, now explore stepping the left leg back as well. Toes tucked under, reaching gently into the left heel. Making sure the breath is fluid and easy. And always giving yourself the opportunity to pause, to rest when needed. So when you're done, lower the left knee and then the right knee back to the floor. And one more time, tuck the tail and roll the hips back towards the heels. Breathing into the back body. So from here, we're going to bring the body to standing. And for some of us, it will be helpful to have a chair close by, making sure it's not going to slip. And come to standing by holding on to the seat of the chair, stepping 1 foot forward, tuck the back toes under, and use the strength of the legs to bring the body into an upright standing position. We'll let the chair be right beside the mat so that if we have any instability or wobbliness, we've got something to hold on to. But make sure that the feet of the chair are on the mat or against a wall so they're not going to slide. Now, standing beside the chair, let's bring the body into simple standing position, into the mountain position. So the legs are hip width apart. The inner edges of the feet are parallel. And then take just a moment to find center in you. So let the weight of the body drift forward till the toes start to grip. Let the weight of the body drift backwards until the toes start to lose ground. And moving forward and backward, slowing the movement down until you start to feel like you are hovering over your own center, not too far forward, not too far back, not too heavy in the right, not too heavy in the left. And once you begin to discover this sense of center, commit to it. Gently root down into the four corners of the feet. Let the tailbone point down towards the earth. And the breastbone lift slightly forward and up, allowing the shoulders to be really easy. Lengthen the crown of the head up towards the ceiling. And just stand like a mountain for a breath or two. Now let your arms be down by the side body, palms looking towards each other. And as we take the next breath in, let's roll the arms open and then sweep the arms up in the direction of your ears. And as we breathe out, turn the palms away from each other and let the arms return down by the hips. Inhale, roll the arms open, sweep the arms up in the direction of the ears as high as is comfortable, and then exhale, turn the palms and relax the arms back down. Just 2 more times with your breath, your pace, and finding that integration point between the length of breath and the length of movement. And when the arms come down to rest by the side body, just pause for a moment and just notice those sensations present as the body undoes the movement. So now we're going to turn sideways on the mat, and we're going to have the back of the chair facing us. So the back legs of the chair are on the mat. And we're going to open the legs into an A stance so that we're 2 feet or so wide between the feet. And we're going to rotate now the right toes so they're pointing towards the top of the mat. So the right toes will rotate 90 degrees. And we're going to bring the left toes in towards the midline, towards your belly button, about 10 degrees or so. We're going to extend one or both arms out to the horizon. And then we're going to soften the shoulders as we continue to lengthen out through the fingertips. Now take an easy breath in and lengthen the spine. And as you breathe out, now bend the right knee until it comes over the heel. Inhale, straighten that right knee again. And then on the exhalation, bend the right knee so that it's over the heel and heading towards the second toe. So just moving in and out of this warrior position a couple more times with your breath. Warming up that joint. And the next time, now that that right knee is bent, we'll pause for a moment if you like. Looking down, make sure that the knee is not out beyond the toes, that it's not rolling in towards the arch or out towards the outer ankle. It's pretty steady, pretty centered over the heel. Check in with the shoulders, make sure they're not lifting up towards the ears. And invite that back leg, the left leg, to be nice and long, so not letting that left knee bend. Feel free to turn the head and look out over your right fingers. And for a couple of moments, just breathing in the form of the warrior. Now straighten the right knee, relax the arms down, turn the toes forward again, and then just pause for a moment and allow curiosity to arise. Sensing the right side of the body, the left side of the body. Maybe even the right nostril, the left nostril. Just interested in the signature of the movement. Till it shifts now to the other side, and we'll rotate the left toes 90 degrees towards the left. We'll bring those right toes in towards the midline, again about 10 degrees or so. That right leg will stay straight through this entire experience, so not bending the knee. And we'll extend the arms now out to the horizon. Arms parallel with the floor, and allow your shoulders to soften. On the in-breath, lengthen up through the spine. And on the out-breath, now bend the left knee until it comes right over the heel. Breathe in, straighten now that left leg. Breathe out and bend the left knee. So just a couple of breaths here. Moving in and out of the posture. Making sure that knee's headed towards your second toe or thereabouts. And the next time that the left knee is bent, feel free to pause. Again, just glance down and make sure that that knee is in a healthy alignment. Not drifting in towards the arch, not drifting back towards the outer ankle. And you want to be able to see your toes. Feel free to rotate the head now to look out over the left fingers. And maybe even add a little emphasis into the right heel, just activating that right leg just a bit. Now straighten the left knee. Turn the toes forward, relax the arms down, and pause. And notice. What is here? Now let's bring the chair to the top of the mat, such that we're looking at the seat of the chair. And again, we want to make sure the legs of the chair are supported by the mat or tucked up against a wall so it's not going to slide out from under us. And we're going to again turn to the side and take an A stance so that the feet are a couple of feet apart, 2 feet, 2.5 feet wide, something like that. And when we open the legs into this A stance, we want to have the leg closest to the chair, pretty close to the lip of the chair. So we'd be able to use the seat of the chair if need be. Now rotate the toes closest to the chair 90 degrees. And bring the back toes in towards the midline, again about 10 or 15 degrees. Extend the arms out to the horizon and soften the shoulders. So there's two actions here, the lengthening of the arms out from the center of the chest and the relaxing of the shoulders, both true at once. Now on the in-breath, lengthen up through the spine. And on the out-breath, we're going to hinge now through the right hip, lengthening the right side body to the right, and then let the right fingers come down and rest on the chair. Now the left arm can either stay extended out to the side, parallel with the floor. The hand could rest on the hip if that's more comfortable. Or that left arm could go up towards the ceiling. Palm facing the direction of the chair. And now for a moment, see if you can sense the relationship from the outer left heel all the way up through the left side of the body. And allow the right side of the body to stay nice and long, so it's not collapsing over, it's not arcing through the side body, but it's nice and long. Now press into the feet. Use the strength of the legs to bring the torso back up into the upright position. Bring the toes forward, relax the arms down. Take just a moment here. Just letting the body readjust. And watching how that happens. So from here, the easiest thing to do would just be to turn around so that now the opposite leg can be forward near the chair. As you open into an A stance, again a couple of feet wide. And now the leg that is closest to the chair will rotate 90 degrees, pointing towards the top of the mat. The back toes will rotate in towards the midline a bit, 10 degrees or so. And we'll extend the arms out to the horizon once again, and then allow the shoulders to soften. So we're going to inhale and lengthen now up through the spine. And as we exhale, we're going to fold over the left hip, keeping the left leg and the left side body nice and long. And then just let the left fingers come down to rest on the seat of the chair. The right arm can either stay extending out to the horizon, the hand can rest on the hip, or the arm can extend up towards the ceiling, palm looking over the crown of the head. And again, from the inside, just sensing those different lines of engagement. From the floor up through the side body, out through the arm. Fold over the hip, the length in the left side body. Keeping the chin gently tucked in towards the throat. Easy in the breath. So again, use the strength of the legs now to propel the body back up into an upright position. Bring the toes forward, relax your arms down, and pause. Notice what's here. What is the inner experience? So let's step the legs back together, and we'll want to turn the chair one more time so that this time we're standing beside the back of the chair. Bring the body into a simple standing position, legs hip-width apart. And as we inhale, let's extend the arms out to the horizon. And as we exhale, cross the arms in front of the body, taking the right arm over the left. And let the hands just rest on the opposite shoulder. Kind of like a big self-hug. This might be plenty. If you'd like to do a little bit more, then you might explore bringing the backs of the hands together over the elbows. Either way, invite the shoulders to soften down away from the ears. And see what it would be like to invite the shoulder blades towards each other just a bit. Kind of like they were reaching for a kiss. Now let the weight of the body come into the right leg. And take a small baby step forward with the left foot. And just check out your balance here. If this feels pretty steady, then you could take that left foot in front of your navel. If that still feels pretty steady, then you might cross the left foot over the right, crossing the legs, but keeping the ball of the left foot on the floor. And just pausing here in this variation of the eagle pose. Just letting the body practice balance as we keep the breath easy. Now step back into simple standing. On the in-breath, open the arms, spread the wings. And on the out-breath, just let the arms rest down by your side for a moment. Still interested, still present with whatever is moving on the inside. Sensations, emotional responses, commentary. So on the next in-breath, we'll extend the arms back out to the horizon. And on the out-breath, close the arms in front of the body. This time we'll take the left arm on top of the right. And either letting the hands just rest on the opposite shoulder. Or if you'd like to bring the backs of the hands towards each other, over the elbows, that's fine too. Shoulders easy. Shoulder blades moving ever so slightly together. Now let the weight of the body come into the left leg. And take a baby step forward with the right foot. Pause and just notice, how's the body doing? How stable does it feel? If it feels pretty stable, then feel free to step that right foot in front of the navel. And if that still feels pretty steady, then you might step the right foot to the other side of the left foot. keeping the ball of the foot on the floor. And just give yourself a couple of breaths here as the body practices balance. Now step back into simple standing, and on the in-breath, open the arms out to the side, and on the out-breath, just let the arms relax down by the hips. Curious, interested in the signature of the posture. What gets stirred on the inside? So now we'll bring the body down to the floor, onto the belly, using the chair to come to the floor by turning to face the chair and with knees bent, hips hinged, take hold of the sides of the chair and then lower one knee down, whichever is more comfortable, and then the other knee down. And then doggy walk yourself onto the mat and lower down onto your belly. Resting on one cheek or your forehead, whichever is more comfortable. And bring the hands back by the hips, palms touching the floor. We'll take just a moment and let the body readjust to this new position relative to gravity. Maybe even noticing those small adjustments that are made as we move through space. Now turn the forehead down so it's resting on the mat. And we'll create a little pivot point now in the face of the pelvis. So without squeezing the flesh of the buttocks too tightly, begin to step the pubic bone and the front-facing hip bones down into the floor. Lengthen and energize down through your legs, maybe even feeling the knees lift a bit as you press the tops of the feet into the mat. Now we're going to shrug the shoulders back and down away from the ears. And on the next inhalation, lifting the chest, the shoulders, and the head away from the floor. And as you exhale, soften down just a tiny bit. Inhaling, feeling yourself lift as the belly rounds. And as you exhale, softening down just a bit. So this movement, this lifting up and down, might not even be detectable from the outside. But please see if you can really let the organic movement of breath create this slight undulation within the form. So that we're not overpowering the breath with the movement. And when you're done, feel free to come back to rest on the floor. You can bring the hands up under the head for support if you like. And welcome a nice round breath into the body and just watch where it travels. Where does it seek spaciousness? So we'll roll the body over by extending one arm up by the ear and let the other hand rest on the floor in front of your ribs. Press into the hand that's by the ribs and log roll the body over as a unit. scooting back onto the mat if necessary. Now bend the knees so the feet are resting on the floor, and tuck your upper arms in close to your ribs. Bend the elbows so that the palms are looking at each other and the fingertips are looking up at the ceiling. And for a moment, just practice pressing the upper arms down into the floor and feel how that enlivens the upper back. And now you can let that go. And bring awareness now into the feet, allowing the heels to be lined up with your sitting bones at the base of the pelvis. And bring your feet as close into the buttocks as is comfortable. Now, ever so slightly, lengthen your tail towards your feet and begin to press into the feet so that you can lift now the pelvis up towards the ceiling, lifting as high as is comfortable, pressing the upper arms down into the floor to help support the upper back. And make sure that the chin is not pointing too far up towards the ceiling or that it's tucked in too deep towards the throat, so that you have a sense of a little air pillow behind the neck. Make sure the breath is still easy and fluid. And the legs are on parallel lines with each other. And then relax the hips back onto the floor, lengthening through the vertebra as you do. Unfold the elbows, and then just pause for a moment, present with whatever is arising. And now feel free to bring one or both knees in towards the chest, holding on to the shins or the backs of the knees. Maybe rock slightly from side to side. And see if you can feel the effects of breath now at the tailbone. Can you feel the effects of breath in the love handles? In the space behind the heart? Can you feel the effects of breath in the back of the throat? And in the crown of the head? And when you're ready, return the feet to the mat. Knees bent. As we prepare for relaxation. Stretch the legs long, feeling free to roll up a blanket or a pillow to put underneath your knees if your low back is sensitive. Let the arms rest by your sides, palms up or palms down, whatever brings the most ease into your shoulders. And let your eyes close. We'll take an inner journey through the body. So we become aware of the toes and the soles of the feet. The ankles and the lower legs. Present in the knees, the upper legs, and the pelvic bowl. Becoming aware of the low belly and the low back, the mid and upper back, and torso. Awake in the tips of the fingers, the palms of the hands, the wrists, and the forearms. Present in the elbows, the upper arms, and the shoulders. The neck, and the head. So greeting the entire body with a sense of kindness. And let the body be. Becoming aware of the emotional heart. The anxiety, the contentment, the anger, the joy, the fear, the love. All the different currents of the emotional heart. Meeting the emotional heart also with kindness. And letting it be. Becoming aware of the thinking mind and all the thought forms, tendencies of the thinking mind. The remembering and the forgetting, the liking, the disliking. The comparing, the creativity. Greeting the thinking mind also with kindness, and let it be. So for now, the invitation is to simply be.